Kalechi. Wants to say yet unequivocally that it is our understanding that the political leader and the former president of the country is safe. It is our understanding that the president emeritus is well. We want to say to Joseph Boakai that blazing fire in the bedroom of the former president is a declaration of war on the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Indomitable Martyr Coalition for Democratic Change. We're going to show Baka that we'll return the war to Baka. The battle has begun. We will return the war that will also attack, but will return the war with the popular union of the masses of the people converging to demand a constitutional democratic franchise and rights, to demand justice, freedom, liberty, equality in the country of liberty, in the country of equal citizenship. The masses will do that and move very soon under the auspices of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Indomitable Martyr Coalition for Democratic Change. And so we say, Joseph Boakai, 2 different times, your failed assassination attempts on the former president has not worked. You need to try another strategy because Joe Weah is not dying soon. Joe Weah is not going to capitulate. Joe Weah is not going to bow down. Joe Weah is not going to dance at your fear tactics of tyranny and dictatorship. Joe Weah was here when Chancellor were around. Joe Weah was here when Ellen Johnson were around. And you cannot do nothing to Joe Weah as Joe Weah is proceeding to the presidency in 2029. On the other hand, the Youth League is concerned about the development in Foya. Fellow Liberians, members of the Folk Estate, ladies and gentlemen, partisans and sympathizers, the latest development from Foya is alarming. While Liberians are struggling in language and economic restitution, while Liberians continue to struggle every day, when tuitions are skyrocketing, when JFK is complaining because there are no beds for patients, when university professors, when teachers from different high schools, private and public schools are complaining, when civil servants are complaining about low salary, just like human Boakai, the last surviving mafia of the old world is building mansion worth 10 million. United States dollars in Foya. Down, 10 million to down. In Foya, about 10 million. If this is now growth insensitivity, then it's callous, it's cruel, it is nefarious, and it's tantamount to utter wickedness and macro-nationalism.
Yo, he's a criminal, say yo.
So condemned, but it is now a surprise. Let's say Boakai said you take we back to the executive mansion. Let's say Boakai told us that you are letting on go. So how can this barbarian from Foya, who said to us that you are letting on move, will be running private jet, will buy 1.2 million Lexus vehicle, and this man in just under 2 years is building mansion in Foya.
on the bottom of those, I want you to come here and talk.
We want to exchange our and the entire LFE family. We are Brisbane. We are so sorry. He's a semi-police officer and his son died this December. Even the bring people. We're just sorry. And I just pray his wife will work on his son in the way we have. Son was so share with you how first this time and I just how for you? But yes, we will go. Yes, we will go. Yes, we will go.
Son's father.
Said that they can loan those who graduate die. As far as the social magistrate is concerned, we have to taking that information, whatever information is be careful. Because I don't want to go start this on your behalf and you can't want to be forced. What is legitimate? The person's attitude. That is first. First thing, your information, what the safeguard with everything of the judiciary. What they do of but one day this thing is, if the letter is not that letter, why got to the public? If you want to support the everyone of us, I got to the public and I don't get to them, but I tell you how unhappy I am. Yes, I also know of communication about what's about to be done. I did a communication on right out yesterday morning. Was it yesterday morning? I said, when you go ahead, let me put it in your person. We are just seeing your weapon, we address the issue. We were seeing your weapon, we address the issue, and we will direct the issue for our bosses. How did this communication get to the public? So I was very, very angry with the let the message in the thing I would take a message I mean, on your right hand, and I shall this the time just inform me that I had nothing to do with the indication of that. I'm a 16 years old. I'm going in a joint happening. Never did that unprofessional to schedule an information or communication application to media. We're not going to run the social media on it. I mean, we're not going to run the judicial on the social media. So I'm disappointed as to how this information was being working. I didn't good about it. If you read my message on your WhatsApp, you see how unhappy I am and the manifestations are addressing trying to do. Now, I didn't think that I would never, I would be so comfortable like that. I know my job as a job, as a judge. I won't do that. Anyway, the issue is where you know, when you come to everyday our opinions, for my husband, yes, my husband is my assistant minister as well for 18 years. I've been married him for 9 years. We've been married, so just this is what we got 9 years. I'm getting studying in that capacity trying to marry to me. I'm getting studying in that capacity before I became a judge. So my appointment as a judge or my marriage to him as my husband has nothing to do with the job that I am doing here as a judge. So as in this conflict of interest, we raise the appointment to my appointment. No conflict of interest. Let me study in that position before I become a judge. He's the longest serving assistant minister in the Republic of Nigeria. 80 good years. Then I was sure that you're not going to see for assistant minister for taxation in the bureau. You know, that for taxation in the bureau. So, you know, his position, he sells in a position, I see me as a person. If I'm making in that position, I got married to him, and he tried to become a judge. So we not just need to just highlight these things. And that's it. The reason we wrote that letter, Your Honor, the judges, our key objective is to protect the integrity of the judiciary. So if issues come out, like I can't be negative, decision, who do you go to define? In the tip of my letter, it's a letter. Look at the pastor, please, people, please put this allegation. That was a tip of my letter. I was asking respectful. The one made it, thought that is against the media. This is media. Yeah, I'm not having a way of not.
Look at it. Look at it. Can I say, Flushing City out is a patriotic duty for me. When I tell you that you know you suffer after now, tell them the sun will so shine on me. They take back 3 words on you. You will leave the party. But one thing I know, man, you don't know party people have to die, man.
Only to know that we will capture another problem. We got here, let's say, today you and I are sitting in here, whether I'm ready or not. And I agree with her. He said, you don't need to say it. Anywhere you want to see, you want to go, I'll follow you. I wanted to know the decision we speak to and I follow. Someone will be at 12, up to 12 midnight. Someone will call me house burning on our street. And I say to God, glory be to God, they would have been once. We would have been sitting there and the fire of the night.
All hail, Liberia Hill. This glorious land of liberty shall alone be ours. Oh, yes. Breathing the fresh air of life this morning is worth it. And we must give God the glory that we are counted amongst the living. If it wasn't for the Lord on our side, what some of us would have been today? But by His special grace and mercy, we are counted amongst the living. We now have another 24 hours. The good, the bad, the ugly. The question is, what have we to do with the 24 hours? It is on you as an individual to utilize your 24 hours wisely or foolishly. Because in union, strong success is shown. With God above our rights to prove, we over all prevail. With hearts and hands, our conscious cause defending, we meet the foe with valor unpretending. So it's a wonderful Tuesday, the 30th day of September, concluding the month of September. It's worth it. And this morning, my co-pilot will join me later on. He's faced with some engagements, but he will join me later on. That's Vani Dukley will be here, and together we're going to run the show. My name is Rufus Divine Cannon. I'm proud to see that this morning. Too many things happening in our country. We're going to be touching bases on those issues that matters. And let me say to the mother body of all journalists in Liberia, happy 61st anniversary. PL 1061 today. Congratulations. Mama PUL, a lot more to be done. Indeed, as we look forward to a fruitful and a brighter future, we hope and pray that we all, as journalists, if you find yourself in the media land space, you are covered by the mother body of the PUL. Ethical standards should be upheld. And I'm not a journalist, I'm a political commentator. Hell no. The ethical standards at all times must be upheld. Whether you are a political commentator or what kind of community, what kind of, how you call them, political analyst or whatever you are, in as much you are in the space of journalists, you must follow the rules of engagement. So this morning, as usual, we take the flight schedules from the Roberts International Airport, followed by our health tip, the vehicle and traffic movement update, commercial commitment, the weather forecasts, only a package for you on the lovely, lovely, lovely Tuesday. So be there, I'm here, a best of our team. When we return, follow back commercials, and we get straight into business. We're going to be talking the talk as we walk the walk up to 10 o'clock, at which time we wind down the curtains on today's edition of the program, Be Positive Show. And let's say good morning to you, Phoenicia's Junior Bar. Thanks so much for joining us this morning and all others following us via our Facebook Live. Just leave your comments, share the show. If you are listening, call a friend to tell a friend that we need to make our contribution by engaging the discourse with positive mindset. The Liberia we want. Speak out on that. Welcome.
Thank you, Liberia, for what? MTN mobile money not doing you. For the first time in Liberia, you can send money from your phone straight to Africa, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Uganda, Rwanda, Mali, and Senegal. No more stressing on how you will send your children school fees to Rwanda or your market money to Guinea or even order your goods from Ghana. No more is now across borders. So yes, star 156 star 1 hash select international transfer and follow the instructions.
Send money easily and conveniently across Africa right from the phone. Dial star 156 star 1 hash and select international transfer to cross borders with Momo. Outbound remittance powered by BNB and Lone Star Sell MTN mobile money.
My people, I get good news though. Enjoy the lowest cash out fees in Liberia with MTN mobile money. Only 2% fee will be charged on any transaction, whether big or small. Cash out today for just small amount from any of our 25,000 agents across Liberia. No one will go know your feet for your own money business. MTN Momo makes it easy, fast, and secure just for you. Star 156 hatch or download the MTN Momo app today to cash out with MTN Momo for just 2% fees. Fast, easy, and secure.
Momo na we say G. Yola one ya mola G. You original. Momo we say was
Hey, attention! All Lose Cancer MTN subscribers. Listen, Liberia's biggest promotion, Global Western was is wow! And this time, we are flying you straight to Dubai. Just die. Now, one fast and do any mobile only transaction. Send money, buy airtime or data, pay bills, cash out, take loan, and stand a chance to win amazing prizes, baby. We're talking about prizes you still not making fun, and then so, amen, win prizes like cash, bags of rice, TVs, motor bikes, generator, microwave, ice box, and more. And for the grand prize, 12 lucky winners will enjoy an all-expense paid trip to Dubai. Yeah, plane ticket, pocket cheese, hotel, jolly, oh, everything covered, baby. Every transaction earns no point you can use to get enough minutes to call or data and automatically enters you into the weekly job, baby girl. So, what are you waiting for? Get your passport ready. It's Mama was to Dubai and this girl, baby. Dial star 156 and start to active. You know, I get simple. The more you, Mama, the closer you are to Dubai. I can't wait to see my stuff in Dubai, in Jamaica, baby. But remember, terms and conditions apply.
Momo carry top person to Dubai. What you waiting for to use a boat?
Okay, after the commercial commitment, it's time that we get to business, getting you all of the various segments this morning. So let's begin with the gasoline price and that of the fuel on the Liberian market. Gasoline is sold for $4. In Liberian dollar is $805. Yes, $805. So $4.02. So it's $805 for a gallon of gasoline. While fuel is sold for $4.36. That means in Liberian dollars is $865. So we'll move over to the weather forecast this morning. Many thanks to the BBC for providing us the weather forecast. Now we have 77 degrees Celsius. Of course, it feels like 82, but rightly, it's going to be mostly cloudy. Precipitation 10%. Humidity is 90%, while the wind is known 3 meter per hour. So basically, let's go down to the Central Bank of Liberia to bring you the exchange rate on the Liberian market. So the buying and selling rates from the Central Bank of Liberia states. For the buying rates, we have 180.34, while the selling rate is 182.32. So that's the rate on the Liberian market, 180.34, and the selling rate is 182.32. Now, we move on to the Roberts International Airport, where the flat schedules is brought to you through many thanks to Flight Trader 24 for providing us the flat schedules there at the Roberts International Airport. Yes, the flight schedules is very important that you get to know about the flights arriving and the flights departing at the Roberts International Airport. We go straight for the Roberts. They are the Roberts International Airport, beginning with Ethiopian Airlines. Ethiopian Airlines, flight ET942 from Freetown, Sierra Leone. We arrived at the Roberts International Airport this morning at 10:05. Ethiopian Airlines flight ET 942. We arrive at the Rabbits International Airport at 10:05 from Freetown, Sierra Leone. Airpiece flight P47536 from Accra, Ghana. We arrive at the Rabbits International Airport at 4:15 this afternoon. And Askar Airlines, flight KP20 from Accra, Ghana. We arrive at the Rabbits International Airport at 5:50 this evening. And lastly, for Rabbits, at the Rabbits International Airport, we have Brussels Airlines. Brussels Airlines, flight SN245 from Freetown, Sierra Leone. We arrive at the Rabbits International Airport at 7:50. So Brussels is the last flight for tonight. Landing at the Rabbits International Airport, SN245 from Freetown, Sierra Leone. We touch base at the Rabbits International Airport at 7:50. So we move on to departures from the Rabbits International Airport. Departures from the Rabbits International Airport. We have Air Cote d'Ivoire. Air Cote d'Ivoire. Flight HF755 will depart the Rabbits International Airport any moment from now, specifically at 8 this morning, 8 o'clock this morning. So we have roughly about 4 minutes for the takeoff of Air Cote d'Ivoire from the Rabbits International Airport. And it's going to be taking off for Conakry, Guinea. So Air Cote d'Ivoire going to take off from the Rabbits International Airport at 8 o'clock this morning for Conakry, Guinea. Ethiopian Airlines flight ET942 will depart the Rabbits International Airport at 11:05 this morning for Addis Ababa. Ethiopian Airlines flight ET942 will depart the Rabbits International Airport for Addis Ababa at 11:05 this morning. And we also have Brussels Airlines. Firstly, it's Airpiece. Airpiece flight P47536 will depart the Rabbits International Airport at 4:55 for Freetown, Sierra Leone. Airpiece flight P47536 will depart the Rabbits International Airport for Freetown, Sierra Leone at 4:55 this afternoon. And lastly, for departures from the Rabbits International Airport, we have Brussels Airlines flight SN245 will depart the Rabbits International Airport for Brussels at 9:10. So Brussels is going to be picking up. Brussels Airlines going to be picking up from the Rabbits International Airport at 9:10 this evening for Brussels. So that does it for the flight schedules from the Rabbits International Airport. We now move on to our health tip. That usually we advise that we get engaged with water, drink enough water. It is advisable that you get engaged with water. It helps a lot. There are lots of benefits. You don't have to get tested before you drink water. No, you don't have to get tested before you drink water. Always get a bottle of water, or you have, we have all of these well-designed, bottles around here. You can get yourself one, put your little water in it. As soon as you walk a little distance or so, you get a sip, or you are seated in your office. You can take after every 45 minutes or so, you take a sip of water. So it helps a lot. It is very important. Let me say good morning to you, Musu Jensen. Musu, thanks so much for joining us. Let's leave your comments on the live feed. If you just joined us, and we're going to recognize you as well. Let you, Venetia's Junior Bar, you also join us. We appreciate you. So basically, we want to say to you folks who are lovers of energy drinks, like you put it, energy drinks. Come on. With all due respect, you are not gaining energy you are causing a serious harm for yourself. Oh, yes, a very serious harm for yourself. Because, mind you, most of these quote unquote energy drinks that you consume, they have a very high caffeine content. And you know, caffeine for the body is not healthy. Hmm? And if you want to test the ability of what we are saying here, just buy some of your regular energy drinks you got around here that you normally take. I'm not going to call specific name. Get one, get a raw meat. Hmm? Get a raw meat, place it in a bowl, and just put one of your energy drinks on it and see the reaction. Then you can determine when you take in that energy drink, what happens in your system. So avoid the intake of that thing called energy drink. It's not healthy for you. All right? It's not healthy for you. Make sure, as always, male and female, it is important that we engage ourselves regularly by seeking medical attention. You know, you don't have to get sick before you go to hospital to do your normal health routine. You don't have to get sick. In Liberia here specifically, what we normally do here is that we should fall sick before we go to hospital. It's not healthy. Somebody will say the economy is so, and why I come and take money to go to hospital? No, you don't have to have the symptom of an illness before go and do your normal check. It is very important. It is very important. How you doing, Trace? I know you're doing great. It is very important for you to do your normal health check. It puts you at a better point so that you know what is unfolding in your body. A lot of us, the only time we get to know that we are ill is when we fall and the illness have gotten so serious. So when you engage, you engage the hospital, do your normal lab check, your blood, your sugar, and all the kind of stuff like that. It's going to help you to know your stand as it relates to your health. A lot of us don't do it. We don't do our health check. It's very important that we get engaged with that. Like the malaria, you will fall down with the malaria before you go to the hospital. These things are not good for us. It's not good. So at least um, monthly you can do your health check. Maybe you can do it twice a month or once a month. It's going to be very, very, very much important. Now, unattended to infection, whether it is a urinary tract infection or some kind of infection, unattended to infection is not healthy for you. What's going to happen here? Most of you, most especially that come down with this urinary tract infection, oh, it will go by itself. Hello, it didn't go by. Come on, there's a serious damage is causing inside there. There where you see a lot of people nowadays coming down with kidney stone, coming down with all sort of illnesses, unattended to infection is a serious threat to your health. So when you feel the symptom of something that is not normal, go and do it. And a lot of us we abuse. A lot of us abuse antibiotics. We abuse antibiotics. Go and do your check. When you do your lab, you will get to know the kind of infection that you are down with, so that you don't misapply the drug. A lot of us misapply drugs. Now you say, "Oh, I got infection." The next thing you go and take some kind of medicine. Maybe that drug that you're taking is not the rightful drug. So you are creating more problems. You are creating more problems for yourself. So go and know what kind of illness is that, so that you get to treat it. Maybe the degree of the illness, it came first, you overlook it, it went. It came out with reinforcement. So you don't know the grade of that illness. So maybe if you are to take two tablets in the morning, then let me just take one. You see the doses. So if you don't know the dose and you just go and there take anyhow because the antibiotic you want to get rid of the infection or so that you're experiencing, my friend, you'll be harming yourself. Too much of one thing is why good for nothing. So if you think that you're taking an antibiotic, and oh yeah, you should know the dose. So that's why it's important that you go to do your health check. You see your urine. For those of you who don't understand this, you see a fuming urine. You go to urinate, your urine is fuming. It is not a good sign. Ask any medical doctor. It is not a good sign. These are all signs and symptoms that your kidney is not functioning well. That means maybe you have the protein and all the kind of stuff have entered your urine. Yes, because mind you, the kidney and the liver work together to break down the component of the food and distribute in the various organs, in the various body parts. So if you sit there and allow yourself, you're not treating yourself, weakening your kidney function and all the kind of things. So you have a lot of protein in the urine. So you see that foaming. So that tells you there's a sign that your kidney is giving you that you need to do a check. You go to urinate, you see your urine very dim. Understand? You go to urinate, you see your urine very dim. Why we are laying more emphasis on this because health is wealth. Hmm? Health is wealth. Go to urinate, you see your urine very dim. Sometimes it's yellowish. You need to do, you need to go to hospital to check. Most often, you normally don't drink water. So at the end of the day, the kidney screen, the liver and the kidney screen to take on all of those waste from the system. So you see all that little water that is in the system, the kidney screen itself to put all of those waste materials in the system. See the bladder, some of you when you feel the urge to go and urinate, you don't go to urinate in time. Say, I will keep it. You are weakening your bladder. It's not good for you. You are weakening your bladder. Avoid all of those practices. As soon as you feel the urge to urinate, get to do it. Put it out. Go and urinate as fast as you can because what's going to happen here is that when you continue to keep the urine, you are sending back all of those bacteria that have the organs have put out as a waste, then you keep it in the system. So the bacteria will make the way back into the system. Hmm? The bacteria will make the way back into the system. That's why you see people developing all kinds of illnesses, the kidney stone, the weak bladder, and all that kind of thing, because you are doing a wrong practice. Make sure as soon as you feel the urge to urinate, go and urinate. Don't keep it. It's not healthy. Oh, I'm tired, man. And during the night hours, another thing that folks you need to know during the night hours, monitor yourself. If you urinate as often, too many times in the night, you need to go and seek doctor. Mhm. You need to go and seek the doctor. It's not oh because I can drink plenty in the night, so no. Mm-mm. It's not because you can drink plenty of water in the night. When you go to bed, you urinate more than 4 or 5 times. It's not a good sign. Huh? Yeah, it's not a good sign. You need to go and seek the doctor. So that's that for our health tip this morning. We encourage you to get a part of your diet, fruits in the evening. Make sure you get before you go to bed. Get cucumber if you can eat one. One cucumber will help you. It will help your digestive system. Help the system to work properly. Because mind you, when the body is at rest, the heart, the liver, and the kidney, they still work over time to break down all of those components, all of those food and things that you've been eating, break it down and send the waste to the waste area and then get engaged with other to make the body nourishing. Lorena Dwyer, how you doing, Lorena? Thank you so much for joining us. It's always good that you eat cucumber. Avoid eating oily food while you are about to go to bed. Yes, avoid oily food while you are about to go to bed. Some of you say, oh man, fry my plantain, and come on, no. Avoid oily food. Yeah, don't get engaged with oily food. That plantain, you say them must fry, no. The egg, you say them must fry, no. You can boil the egg, yes, but don't eat oily food because, mind you, you need to burn the calorie. When the body is at rest and you're eating food that contains calorie, that's why some of you wake up in the morning, you're so dizzy, you're so heavy. It is based on the level of food, that kind of food that you ate before going to bed. Eat only food. It's gonna give the kidney a very tough time to break down the component of food that you ate. Some of you, when you eat in the morning, you are any time of the day, you must take in cold water. Avoid oily food. When you eat in oily food, then you take cold water and put it there. It's not healthy for you. It's causing us very serious harm to your health. Always get engaged with room temperature water, especially when you're eating oily food. Some of us, we were part of this thing, but when we got advised by doctors, we put into practice and we see ourselves, we see what is happening, the change in our body. Some of us, we are so obese to the extent we know the man enjoying your stomach getting big. You eat oily food, you eat all kinds of junk before going to bed. These things remain in the system, and at the end of the day, the kidney and the liver cannot break them down. So at the end of the day, you start developing fats and all that kind of stuff. Stop eating oily food and drinking cold water. It's not healthy for you. It is not healthy for you. When you go to eat, a room temperature water will help you. Hmm? Take for instance, you take that, how they call it, sir? You take the oil and place it in the fridge. What's gonna happen? So tell me now, you put in oil in your system, then you take cold water and put it on it. How you expect the organs to perform? And worse than that, you already going to bed and you can take cold water. That's why it's always good before you go to bed. You can get a lime tea, you drink a lime tea, or you drink a ginger tea. Do something hot before you go to bed. Drink something hot before you go to bed. It's going to help you. Hmm? So, with that being said, that's our health tip for today. Hope we learned. It's important that we talk about these things because the media is all about education, entertainment, and information. So this is the educative part of our broadcast, health wise. Okay. So I'm here. I told you my colleague will join me later on. Vani Ducle is on an engagement. However, I'm here. So let's get engaging with the vehicular traffic movement. Let me say my deepest condolences to my friend and brother, senior brother. Of course, we grew up there in the Gardnersville area. These are senior brothers that guided us in the process, and always we look up to them for guidance. I say to you, Mr. Griswold, you and your family, my deepest condolences for the loss of your son who was killed in an accident while in discharge of duty by a taxi driver, as we've been told. May his soul and the souls of all faithful departed rest in peace. We want to say this to our officers. Why it is true that you are in discharge of your duty, we want to say to you have a lot of reckless people. We have a lot of people who we don't know. We are in an era where hate, envy, and all sort of things on the increase. Evil is on the increase. So when you are in discharge of your duty, most especially for those of you who are traffic officers, and you give a command to a vehicle, and this driver of that vehicle is so persistent in getting closer, do not stand in front of them. Hmm? Let them pass. All you need to do is to jot down the plate number or whatever the vehicle. You can do a snap of the vehicle with your phone or whatever, so that you can apprehend the person at any given time. Your life is very important. This is one of the things I have found on when I see police officers continuously standing before most of the cars here, especially the trucks and the stuff around here. They are defective. So you risking your life to stand in front of vehicle, stop, no. And let them go. Take a picture. Yeah, that's why technology is very important. So we are calling on the authority of the Liberian National Police. We noticed that there was a system put in place in booths. We were told that these booths were going to carry cameras and all the stuff like that. Let us not relinquish that. Let us get engaged with that so that our officers can be safe as well. In as much you are out there to save lives and property, you are also in the line. Your life need to be safe too. So we are calling on the authority of the Liberian National Police to vigorously get engaged with this camera system. In Ghana, while we continue to emphasize on Ghana or come up, because this is a place that we've been and we know what happens there. In Ghana, at the every traffic light, there's a camera. So you as a driver, when you think that you are the head nigger in charge in the traffic to violate, come on, bro. That's why the people have a system. We must apply a systematic approach. As the world is evolving, let us get along with the little technology that is available to us. Make sure to get the cameras that was once, talked about for the very traffic lights and all those. So those who will violate, they will be penalized because, mind you, when you go to the traffic court, the system is there. At this point in time, you violated the traffic rules and regulations. You violated the traffic light. This is a penalty, and this is the footage showcasing that indeed you violated the traffic lights. Because we see these things on a daily basis, and it poses a serious threat to the officers' lives and that of the pedestrians. For no reason, you will see a motorcycle where the traffic light is on and giving the other side the access to go. That person will just jump up on the road. It may cause accidents. So when you have the camera system put in place, it will help our police officers. It will help even the pedestrians because those perpetrators will be brought to justice because the footage will not lie. That's why we need a complete system. So all of these lesson plates that are being given, or we notice that the LMT, how they call them, the I think LMT, yeah, putting in a system, and that should be included. So if you are giving out a lesson plate to a particular vehicle, that vehicle, all of the details of that vehicle is attached to that lesson plate. So all you need to do when this person violates, just get the lesson plate, you put it into the system, you will get to know who at that time violated. We need a complete system. You won't have officers risking their lives to stand before these defective vehicles. So on this note, we want to extend once again our deepest condolences to Senior Brother Briswell and his family for the loss of his son. And we want to say to you, drivers, in as much these people are out there in discharge of their duties to save lives and properties, we must accord them the respect. Yes, we must accord them the respect. Standing in the rain, standing under the sun, making sure to regulate the traffic, it gives you no right to disrespect them. It gives you no right to disrespect them, to humiliate them. We know times are hard. Some of them, we still have people who are bad apples that get engaged with unorthodox issues or unorthodox practices, but yet and still, amidst the challenges, we see the prospects and gains, and we must work towards the gains, because when the police is adequately performing their duties, you, the citizens, you feel relief, and we have that quality added. We coordinate. Though the man is in discharge of his duty to save lives and property, you as a person or as a citizen, you also have a duty and a responsibility to accord to the rule of law. Make sure to respect the rule of law. When the officer tells you, do this, abide by it. If you have any qualm, that's why they have the professional standard. Though that man may quote unquote be wrong, or you know very well that he's in error, all you need to do, get the detail of that person and file in your complaint. Instead of you getting in a face fight or getting engaged with word of words with the officers. In other countries, you don't see these things happening. You are shot dead. The great United States, you don't challenge the officer, because the first engagement here, the man have to put out self-defense. So when he press the trigger on you, you know what's up. So let us not get engaged with face fight with our officers. We know sometimes, or most often, they get in the wrong, but let us exercise restraint. Let us exercise that level of understanding that there are laws on the books. No officer is above the law. So if that officer goes wrong, all you need to do, just get his identity and file in your complaint to the professional standard. There are people who are there to listen to your plight, and that officer will be called to justice, and justice will be served. We've seen these things. People who have violated. The last time there was a violation across there, where some officers when they went through the investigation, they were wrong. Some of them were suspended. Some of them was actually disrobed. So it tells you that the perception that you had about the force, where anything the person does, you have a system put in place. We're talking about professionalism. A system put in place to safeguard the space, both the officer and you, the civilian. Engaging into the work, that means he also don't have life. He have life to protect, as he's protecting yours. So the ruling manner, the ruling behavior we exhibit on our officers is far, far from reality. We shouldn't be engaging into this. So the vehicular traffic movement along the various corners, we understand that the police is actually doing extremely well. They are engaging, and we also call on them as well to put in more professionalism and avoid too much of unorthodox practices. It's not healthy because you are first in line for the security sector of the country. You are the first responder. So if you do not have that relationship with the citizens, then where are we? And there's a word that I normally don't love to use big jargons, but there's something called familiarity. When people get so familiar with you, they tend to disrespect you. Hmm? When people get so familiar with you, they tend to disrespect you. So, though you may know the officer and you have that cordiality, but that doesn't give you the right to disrespect the person, especially when that person is wearing the flag and shield of the republic. When the flag and the shield of the republic has been worn by that person, give them the due courtesy. Give that person the due courtesy. That's why we continue to emphasize, we continue to call on the relevant authority, the education ministry, to get engaged with the reintroduction of civics in our schools. It brings us to the place so that we continue to emphasize on the teaching of civics in our schools and public areas. Because, mind you, the old heads will no longer go back to school, but they need to know these things. It is so appalling that even our national symbols are not respected by people who should be respecting the national symbol. As a citizen of this country, you must respect the national symbol, the flag, the seal, the national song. But yeah, we are, even the people who are trained in that line, they no longer adhere to these kinds of things. You are wearing the flag of the republic. With that being said, you must be engaging. Always follow the rules of engagement. Do not get yourself engaged into unorthodox practices. Because what's going to happen? You are wearing a flag. If you get into a fist fight and it goes wrong, what's going to happen here? You are bringing the flag, you are bringing the country to a public disrepute. Because, mind you, let's take, for instance, if you get into a fist fight with somebody and the person overpower you or knock you down, just by you wearing the flag of the republic, that respect should be accorded. But again, because we are not aware of our civics duty and responsibilities, so we just do anything anyhow. The teaching of civics in our schools, we need civic education, public areas. We go now. It's about time that the education ministry, the justice ministry, all these ministries and agencies in that line should be engaging. It's time that we get to engage. The lawlessness in the country, it derives from all of these things. If a man, you will not have an American citizen seeing an officer wearing the suit and flag of America and dare put his hands on that person to say he's jacking him up or getting in a face fight. That alone, you are saying that you are fighting the country because that man carries the flag of the republic. But we lack civic education. So at the end of the day, they may not even know the importance of the flag. He doesn't even know the importance of the seal that the officer is wearing and the officer themselves. So these are things that we should continue. We should get engaged. The information ministry, you also need to be a part of it because you are the information arm of the government. And these meetings, even journalists, you go to functions, at the end of the day, and the national anthem has been sung, you find people moving here, there. Hell no. These are things that when you see people who you expect to know better doing, it hurts. It only tells you that There's no regard for the state. You cannot be singing the national anthem, then you find somebody moving. Whether you are a journalist, if you that's why you go in time or you go ahead of time to position yourself to a place where you know very well the national anthem will be sung so that you get your best shots. Now, when the national anthem is being sung, then they're passing from one end to the other. It's wrong. Attention. I listened a few days to. Let me just welcome my colleague. He's just joined us. Viney, hey, what's up? How's it? How's it?
Yeah, good morning, Rufus. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm happy again to be on, and it's a pleasure. Thank you for the show. Thank you for the build-up. I have a very passion to this
Yeah, I
topic.
know, I know.
Very proud of it,
I
but
know I was
my
listening.
sincere apology anyway. But I'm glad we have, and let's do it.
Yeah, together.
Sure.
Yeah, we started on the basis of civic education. This is lacking in our society. So most of the things that we see around us here, it derives from the educational aspect of our civic responsibilities.
Mm.
You see, citizens, we talk about the national symbol. Find somebody fighting police officer, somebody wearing the flag of the republic, then you're jacking or you're on a torso, like what we saw the last time with the KK man
Yeah,
and the officer.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be state security, but that person is wearing the flag of the republic. Just by the person carrying that flag, you should accord them the due respect because it's a national symbol.
yes.
And you go to the extent that we even see when holidays are coming, the big days and stuff like that, we see our sisters taking our national symbols in a new fashion and all kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It all derives from the lack of civic education.
Yes, I mean it is a serious problem, Rufus. Like you mentioned, it is a big problem for us because if we talk about good governance, uh, it's a two-way swing.
Mhm,
I mean, the citizens, we too as a people, we owe it. We have our fiduciary responsibility to the state.
mhm,
Uh, it is it is so disturbing to see an ordinary person who is not bearing the flag, holding, like you mentioned, the case of the KK man, the police officer. I mean, violating and trying to assault a police officer for whatever reason, much as the person is wearing the uniform, national emblem is what as present. I mean, that authority comes over whatever he says. But we are coming to a point where people are not beginning to recognize authority. And it's troubling. Um, this is the same thing we saw yesterday and led us into civil conflict.
mhm.
Uh, Civil disobedience is a sign and symptoms, even only if it is not carried out properly. It's a sign and symptoms for crisis conflict. And we don't want to reach to that point. And I like the way you stressed. We need civics in our schools. We need to emphasize that every citizen of this country, you have a civic responsibility to the state.
Mhm.
And that responsibility in itself means you respect constitutional authority. And the police is an extension of a constitutional authority. I mean, law, law and order should be the order of the day. I mean, we don't have a police state go out of this whole where people just wake up in the morning and do anything anyhow
Mhm.
and just walk scot free. We should we should ensure that we have, I mean, systems who have, I mean, checks and balances, you know, so that we're not just doing anything anyhow. This is why we have the court system. If you are aggrieved, you are, you know, maybe feel some way somehow, intimidated, you can challenge your grievances to the court. But if we reach a point where we see the people who are in positions of power as nobody, as meaningless people, then I don't know where else we are headed. And no country will succeed. No serious country will succeed in the absence of law and order. No serious country will succeed in the absence of respecting constitutional authority. It is not possible. Nowhere in the world you see that. Even in great America, where freedom is being preached and championed. We respect law and order. We respect the fundamental rights of people who are in positions of trust, especially people who are providing services such as the police, the immigration, well, soldiers. These are people who are receiving tax dollars to protect lives and properties. These are people who, forgo many other things to serve their country. The best we can give them is disrespect. I think everyone who's in some art should exist. And we encourage you as a citizen, you that are riding that keke, you that are riding that taxi, let's try as much as possible to respect, I mean, our officers. Our officers, they are the nation's pride. We are a nation that's surviving on our own state security now. Only has left. And the peace and the peace and the serenity and everything of this country rests in our own hands. We all need to put our hands around our officers, whether the police, whether the immigration, whether the LBA, whether the soldiers, the fire service. We need to rally our hands around them and make sure that they are second to none. They are better. It is awkward. We forced to see brutal changes between citizens and police.
One of the reasons,
It's too disturbing.
just a day ago or two, we witnessed the instant killing of an officer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I follow that Vatan, right?
yeah,
Is it Vatan?
yeah, that's in corridor there,
Okay.
and it's so disturbing. This person, um, the senior brother, the father of the officer, happens to be one of my senior brothers
Oh,
from the Gardnersville area. We grew up in their hands. We know them, they guide us, give us the mentorship, all the kind of stuff. So this is so troubling that lawlessness is becoming the order of the day. And it also brings us to the point to understand that even these various forces, security forces, the bad apples are even engaging nowadays than the good ones.
Mhm.
You understand that information, well, we have to get more verification to be verified. There are people who have spoken to us concerning these kinds of statements that do come from these officers. Especially, you have folks on the PPCC that are PCC, the PCC, please will say it,
Corporation.
okay, and that of the MCC. When these guys go out to carry on arrests
Mhm.
regarding the marketeers and all the kind of stuff,
Mhm.
some of them made statements that are not really healthy.
Mhm.
And one of the folks actually told me that, and at the government say, one, come on, why would you be as an officer, you making such a statement? It just tells that you are shooting yourself in the leg because this is the same government you are part and parcel. That's why I always say to people, you take your political garment off when you are in a professional environment.
Mhm.
Take your political garment off
Mhm.
when you find yourself in a
Mhm.
professional environment. Because, mind you, at the end of the day, professionalism should be the order of the day. You're in a
Certainly.
professional area. How will you be wearing a uniform rather, and carrying on arrest of people who, quote unquote, are in violation of the rules and regulations of the city ordinance. Then you tell them, and I come here and say, oh, we're arresting it, and you'll see. So that means you want to carry on something that is not lawful, so that it paints the authority black, so that it puts the people against the authority. Forgetting to know that you are a member of the same body. So we put political party interests first, and forgetting to know our roles and responsibility in our professional environment. Fee.
Yeah, I mean, and it is. I mean, because sometimes I ask myself how some of the elements who are in, whether I mean, whether the city police, the police, the Liberal National Police, the immigration, some of the elements, some of the bad apples, how they even enter the system, how were they recruited? I mean, like you said, I mean, you can be representing the state and making statements that undermines the very institutions you're trying to represent. And for me, I think all we need in this country is the fact that we need a collaborative governance system. We need to collaborate to achieve whatever we want to achieve. I mean, the police, I mean, people in the city ordinance in terms of enforcing regulation, the city police, the immigration, the soldier, I mean, we should see collaboration as the order of the day. Because, I mean, Rufus, we cannot achieve as a country if we don't see the land, I mean, the land of
Nationalism and patriotism.
We are not willing to collaborate. We're not willing to accept the fact that we are in the wrong and somebody is trying to, correct us. We're not willing to accept the fact that uh, the way to develop and to go beyond is to accept the collaboration. Then, I mean, if we're not willing to collaborate, then I don't know what else we are willing to do. Because, I mean, good governance comes from collaboration. I mean, the citizens must collaborate with the police must collaborate with the citizens. I mean, there should be that feature, of collaboration. And that brings me to the point where collaboration falls in policy consensus. Okay, how are we making policies for the people in the streets, the marketplace? Are our policy meeting the consensus of the marketeers? Look, bulk of the problem is coming from the people in the streets. And you just look at one moment because you see the bully me. You didn't even tell people that this was, a policy decision. Where there was a dialogue, did the people who are going to be affected, were they allowed to sit on the table to say this is the decision of the government, of the city government, these are the steps we're about to take, or Mr. Police Officer, through the Ministry of Transport, we are doing this regulation, we are making these roadblocks on the side of the road. Policy consensus must be critical to our decisions when it comes to governance. And that's cause for collaboration. Because if you're talking about collaboration, people should agree. I hope you're getting me. These are features we should consider, policy consensus. And we have to look at what are the vision, what are the vision of our country. I mean, if we are talking about a mantra called arrest, and by and large, this arrest is intended to enhance the living conditions of our people, then are we looking at arrest as opposed to the community vision too? What are the people in the community thinking? What do they want to achieve? Are we getting me? Can we align the arrest with the community people thinking? Because the only way we can work together, the only way we can achieve, is we're on the same page. So if you're telling me arrest, you want to talk about agriculture, you want to talk about road, all good things in the agenda, then you should come to me asking, This is what we have. How can we mirror this with the community owned initiative? That way we achieve national development. That way we achieve national progress. But if people in position of power just sit and say, oh, well, we are the one in charge. So we decide whatever the people want.
Yeah,
Their rule.
it doesn't work that
No,
way.
it doesn't work that way. So you see the fight, you see the hustle and bustle. So policy consensus is critical to everything we do. This is where I said we need collaboration. The private sector, the government, we need collaboration. And other than that, we're gonna be in a terrain where, I mean, serious hostile terrain, and this is what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Citizens are no longer afraid of the police officers again. We are becoming so lawless to the point where people call the radio and stop people.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. So I mean, are we having consensus on our rules that we are trying to institute in our country? Are we having consensus on it? Are people called to the table to be lectured on? This is the decision of the police. This is the decision of the government. This is how we want to proceed. Because democracy calls for that,
Mhm.
and we are practicing democracy. It's like you say we are observing dictatorship, and well, this is what we are seeing. But if we are saying we are a democratic state, which we accept the views of other people. But both of the things we do, Judas, I mean, Rufus, I mean, I think we're just doing it because we feel that we are in a position to do it, and we are not consulting the ordinary people.
That's why I always say to there's a saying that says lack of wisdom and people perish biblically. So because our people are not engaging, they lack the wisdom, they lack the understanding. That's why we say education is very important. Education is very important. I always say when the minds are, the eyes will appreciate the works of the hands.
Yeah.
We develop our minds. So basically, we need to start to reach out.
So
That's what I always find at the folks that are the information ministry to play a pivotal role.
Mhm.
Information dissemination is very important. Information is as important as food, water, shelter, and medication. So if you are not providing the adequate, if you're not providing the adequate information or timely information to the people, what's going to happen? Misinformation and disinformation takes center stage. So if they are the conduit through which information is passed on from government to the citizens, if they will sit there and allow themselves to be combative and not speaking out on the issues, the bread and butter issues, like for instance, if somebody or a critic come up to say something about the workings of the government, what you should be doing professionally is to make the people to understand, provide the timely information so that you will not give room to misinformation and disinformation. Because when the people are informed in time, what? They prepare themselves. That's why we say journalists, we as journalists, we play a pivotal role in the society. We make sure that every information that we provide to the people is from that information and make decisions. So if we will sit there as the gateway to information dissemination of the country or the government, and we take the shape of being combative or being very insultive in our responses to people who criticize. Come on, I always say to people, I love people who always criticize me. My critics, I do appreciate them because they make me a better version of myself. They see me from another side that I'm not seeing. You understand? Regardless of the hate, right? Regardless of some personal gains. But the fact remains, amidst all of the things that will be said to you or against you, there are facts among them. So what you will do as a rational being, you accept and then work on the ones that are true to make a better version of yourself.
Mhm.
But we notice in our dispensation, when you speak truth to power, people get so bitter and they put on a ruling posture. And this have been not just under this government. We saw that happening previous government. During the Madam Ellen Johnson said, that's why you see, it's always good to bring professional people, people who are knowledgeable about a terrain.
Mhm.
We saw the likes of, we're definitely going to be blunt here, the likes of Asa Jackson.
Mhm.
When Asa Jackson was there at the information ministry, you saw his posture as deputy at that place. The way in which he responded to people, the ruling manner in which he engaged national issues. So the society took it and they embrace it. So at the end of the day, anyone who goes there would also love to take on that posture because they believe it is the only way the people can understand the government side of the matter. But not using the professional standard, but engaging the people in a timely form and manner, reaching out to them in a timely form and manner with information. When Asa Johnson left, there came in Fagon, right? When Fagon came in the picture, he took on the same posture because his predecessor was very, in a kind of arrogant way of responding. So now we now have another person at this point where you see the likes of Donald Sano and even the minister. Sometimes they start the bounce. Sometimes we wonder as to whether they have the communication knowledge, because communication is about the feedback. Put into play the feedback mechanism. When you pass on information, the manner in which you pass on the information is how you're going to get the feedback. You will not get the feedback as you want it, but mind you as the recipient, the way in which the person will decode that message. Now, it is based on you who send the message, the way you tell it the message, the understanding may be favorable because the way you tell it the message. I cannot respond to somebody who have criticized me in a formal manner, then I come with the same ruler behavior. What sense does it make? It makes no sense, right? So we must come to the point to understand that the ministry that controls all information dissemination of the government should be more engaging than being combative. Must be more engaging than being combative, because it's just like, I know that you are quick to anger, so I will say something that will make you so angry, so that you come out in a rude manner, and then the thing that I said to you now will no longer be the subject. You who I said it to will become the subject, because your response to me will make a news. And you understand that? It will make a news because the public believe that you must be built, you must be very knowledgeable in how to respond to issues. So if you, Vanny, come and cost me, then I return the same insult to you. What sense does it make? It tells that I lack the intellectual, capacity to engage for the understanding of the common man. I must be able. You can engage somebody who came in a very ruling manner, very professionally, that even the layman will understand that you brought that person to their needs. Instead of you using words, you hear the likes of the minister, you hear the likes of his deputy, lashing at people in a ruling manner. Come on. The information is very important. Like we say, very important. Like food, water, shelter, and medication. So the timely dissemination of the information, it puts the public at the right point to understand and build themselves, because we are in a dispensation where misinformation and disinformation is at a higher peak now. So you who have the information, you are the custodian of the information. You are not providing the information. I'm the opponent. I come up, I said, wait, I need to be fed. I need my person to be fed in the society. I shouldn't be there entirely. So let me coin something that will bring them out of their share so that the public can look at them ugly. I come in and bring out misinformation. So tell me now, if you are providing timely information to the people on issues, and somebody come up with fake information, you think which one will take center stage? The people will believe because they are already abreast with the information, and you have provided facts to whatever information that you are providing. It has backing. They see in the reality. The issue of roads, right? Even people who are from the opposition are now coming up with testimonies, right, about the government. So yes, back in the days, we never had the time, to reach out there. Maybe you're going to Grand G there. You have to spend days, or sometimes they use by way of articles to come in. But nowadays, you can take up the time. You take a drive from here by 7. Maybe you may reach something like 9 in the night, or 10 o'clock in the night, or 12 o'clock in the night. You seen it? With a very low car. But unlike before. So these are things that when you tell somebody that the road is paved in a rural area, we are engaging with the road network, and people go and see it. Aren't they coming up now to be testimony to the works that you are doing? Will definitely testify to it. But I cannot say I am this. And at the end of the day, when the people go to check, it's far-fetched. See what is happening now in Lofa County with the information that's being provided concerning the presidential stuff. So if you think for any reason the public from the initial was engaged, there were rumors about this property, right? Before it came to this point, before its completion. What was the stand of the information ministry in providing the knowledge to the public? What was the information stand? So now the opposition they are using it running with it like a wildfire, and that's what I always say to people: the message and the messenger. The message may be right, but who is that messenger? Who is the messenger? The message may be right, but who is the messenger? So now we are not saying, with all due fairness, we are not saying that, allegedly what is being done or what was done is right. If for any reason there are facts, information being provided, but yet and still, let's understand who is that messenger that is running with the message. You understand where I'm coming from? Who is that messenger that's running with the message? We listen to media past officials of the that regime. They are the messengers now, running with the message. I will play you, let's get our commercial commitment. Let's get our commercial commitment. We'll come back to that. It's very serious. Nikki Bestman, how you doing, my brother? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. And you also look good, my brother. You also look good. I appreciate you so kindly. So this is a Rufus Stefan Cannon and Vani Ducle presentation on the Positive Show. We're getting our commercial commitment. When we come back, we dive into the issues that matters to the growth and development of our beloved country. So you will have the time to make your input. So leave your comments on the live feeds, and we will read them out as well.
MTN mobile money now to for the first time in Liberia. First time in Liberia, you can send money from your phone straight to Africa, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Uganda, Rwanda, Mali, and Senegal. No more stressing on how you will send your children's school fees to Rwanda or your market money to Guinea or even order your goods from Ghana. Momo is now across borders. So just star 156 *1# select international transfers and follow the instructions.
Send money instantly and conveniently across Africa right from the phone. Dial *156*1# and select international transfer to cross borders with Momo. Outbound remittance powered by BNB and Lone Star Cell MTN mobile money.
MTN. Your attention, please. Please do not smoke in the terminal.
Second, wake up.
No, Jua, man. People are going to buy the show. You just saw the dream by.
Dubai? What's in carry you there? Bello or passport?
One day, I'll run Iron Boy, claim the world tallest berry and live left back.
You think sleep will carry you Dubai? Not care for you, I bring good news. No more wasted WhatsApp 5 is back, and this year is to buy edition. Just dial *156# and do any moment transaction, send money, buy data, pay bills, and stand a chance to win an all-expense paid trip to Dubai.
4 package?
Yes, so 5 pocket cheese, chole, all cover. 12 people going. Every transaction earns you points. More points, more chances.
A Dubai dream is loading over. I will get more everything right now.
Dream big with Momo Western Wasa. Dubai edition, baby. Recharge, pay, or send with Momo and stand a chance to win amazing prizes every week. In an all-expense pay trip to Dubai at the grand prize. Dial *156# now to transact and win. Or listen, terms and conditions apply. Dubai is Jamaica coming home.
MTN.
After our commercial commitment, we are back. Of course, we are back to talk about the issues that matters. You know, we've been talking about a couple of things here this morning, but we thought to weigh in on this issue that has to do with the prevailing situation, information coming up from Lofa County concerning the alleged presidential complex. Yeah, so now information all around the quarters, you know, people running with information, but there you few voices regarding this, and we thought it wise to say the message may be right, but who are the messengers? Yeah, the message may be right, but who are those messengers? So let's listen to one of the stalwarts of the Coalition for Democratic Change when he had the time to talk to his partisans. In presence of Alvin Weeser. Let's listen to Alvin.
Where again we witnessed another failed assassination attempt on the former president. This time around, it was at the residence of the former president. Long live, long live, long live, long live, long live for President George. Long live, long live. Yo, you're gonna president yo. The former president of the country been out of the country. We are the revolutionary democratic coalition for democratic change. What's to say yet unequivocally? Now it is our understanding that the political leader and the former president of the country is safe. It is our understanding that the President-elect is well. We want to say to Jordan Wakai that blazing fire in the bedroom of the former president is a declaration of war on the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Democratic Coalition for Democratic Change. And we're going to show Baka Now we return the world to Baka. The past has begun. We will return the world now will also attack. But we return the world of the popular union of the masses of the people converging to demand a constitutional democratic franchise and rights, to demand justice, freedom, liberty, equality in the country of liberty, in the country of equal citizenship. The masses will do that and move very soon under the auspices of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Intellectual Market Coalition for Democratic Change. And so say, Joseph Manwaka, 2 different times, your failed assassination attempts on the former president has not worked. We need to try another strategy. Because Georgia is not dying soon. Georgia is not going to capitulate. Georgia is not going to bow down. Georgia is not going to prince and your peer tactics of tyranny and dictatorship. Georgia was here when Chancellor were around. Georgia was here when Ellen Johnson were around. And you cannot do nothing to Georgia as Georgia is proceeding to the presidency campaign for the night. On the other hand, the Youth League is concerned about the development in fire, where Liberians, members of the folk estate, ladies and gentlemen, parliaments and sympathizers, the latest development from fire is alarming. While Liberians are struggling in language and economic destitution, while Liberians continue to struggle every day, when tuitions are skyrocketing, and JFK is complaining because there are no beds for patients, when university professors, when teachers from different high schools, private and public schools are complaining, when civil servants are complaining about low salary, just like human bucket. The last surviving mafia of the old order is building massive work, 10 million United States dollar in Foya. Down, 10 million to blackness down in Foya and work 10 million. If this is now gross insensitivity, then it's gallows, it's cruel, it is nefarious, and it's tantamount to utter wickedness and macro nationalism.
Yo, it's a criminal say yo.
So condemn, but it is not a surprise. Listen, Baga said you take we back to the executive mansion. Listen, Baga told us that you are living on you. So how can this barbarian from fire who said to us that you are living on moon will be right for the
Sometimes this is so saddening. This is so saddening that people who term themselves as intellectuals, who term themselves as intellectuals, we go. You see what we're talking about? Civic education. Civic education is very important to our society. You know the roles and responsibility of the government, the various branches of government. You know your roles and responsibility as a citizen. So now, coming to statements being made by our minister, who claimed to be an intellectual. It's not a front, but we must call a spade, right? Addressing a leader, not just an ordinary person, but a leader of the country in a form and manner, regardless of your political differences. What moral example are you sending out there for the many young people who see you or sees you as a role model or a mentor, addressing your senior, not just your senior, but a statement. Let's take it from the political angle and go to the family line. An elderly person. You see what we talk about morals? A young man of your kind addressing a senior in that form and manner. What brings to mind? Someone who claims to be an intellectual.
Okay, for me, because you were speaking about many things, especially the ministry of information, issue of information and disinformation. Well, just to put Ali on the spot, I think whatever it is he's saying, we should look at the fact that you can't be describing the president in words that is very disrespectful. I mean, leaving the fact that he's the president of this country, he is more like a grandfather of the nation, given his age. He's somebody who's 80 plus. We can disagree and agree, but let's add some civility to our politics. Let's be civilized. Let's be formal. Let's be respectful. When we're talking to our leaders, we're talking to people in positions of power. We have to be very mindful. I mean, for me, I have a very deep faith in Christianity. I'm a Christian, and I like to do what the Bible says. You know, we were instructed to respect our leaders, pray for our leaders. That way, we find peace. We have peace. You know, I know. Yes, politically, it comes with different flavor. Meanwhile, that different flavor should not give us the guts and the medium to insult our leaders. This is awkward. We should not encourage that. Okay. Politics is not about insults. I mean, criticizing somebody is not about causing the person. It's not about being rude, you know. So I think, Alvin, as a young man, as a member of my generation, I think he stood, you know, a bit way too far. I mean, it could be a grandson or even great grandson to Joseph Walker. And you can describe the president as a barbarian. That's ugly. That's rude. That's unacceptable. But in addition to other claims he made about, calculating and to kill the former president, the former president is not going anywhere. He survived other regimes. I mean, this is a serious claim. And I think state security should get involved. A top bra in the CDC, one of the first soldier of the CDC, who believes so much in the ideology of the president, the former president, will come up with our concrete evidence to say this president wants to execute the former president. Hanging on a reported fire incident, then there are more questions in reasons and eyebrow. It's a reason to be invited. You ask the hard questions. What inform the statements that the president wants to execute the former president? How are you drawing the conclusion? The fire incident was investigated. What are the signs and symptoms to show that this former president is being targeted? Because if you don't do it, people will continue to round the back of this information, misinformation. Somebody somewhere who is not elected may pick up what I just said and try to run with it. Oh yeah, Mr. Parker wants to kill Mr. George here. You can imagine the insanity in that statement. I mean, I consider that statement to be very insane because you've not given us any proof yet. You are making blanket allegations, and the state security should come in. It is now time. It is hard time that you invite Ivan Wilson and whoever making similar claims as he is, ask them the hard question. Because if you don't do it,
You give room.
precedent has been set. People will always run with whatever they want to run with. And Rufus, in the court of public opinion, perception holds strongly.
Mm-hmm.
People hold perception as fact. And the way to minimize perception is by ensuring that investigation is carried out and there is an outcome of those investigations. And the public get to know that there is a perception, there is a fact. So let the people decide. But if you allow the man to work under the canopy of his allegations and you allow people to consume it, you're not doing anything. No, the impression is put in the people's mind. And what he's saying is true. So we need to invite him, ask him the hard questions. I'm not passing judgment to say that what Avi is saying is there wrong. No. All I'm saying, if he's making such a statement, there should be a basis where he's standing on. He's not an ordinary person. He's a young man. Or he has a deep ear to the citizen. Who's feeding him with that information? He needs to come to the public. He needs to come to the police and say who's helping him with the information he's providing. That way, we have to control the wave of information in our country. The major information, like you mentioned earlier, got more work to do. So now, in the typical library setting, what Avi has said, major information, if they have a regular press briefing, they're going to be combative, when they attack. How are we helping the citizenry? How are we helping the information discourse? In a serious country, will I think likely what the young man has said? No. You're talking about assassination plot against the former president. That's a big statement. It's not any other, it's not any petty thing. That's serious matter. And you are creating a scenario where someone who is at a point of advantage, because you lay allegation that the president wants to execute a former president, that means already the man is in position of power. He controls the states, controls the power of the military. He controls every other resource. I mean, he has the mind and every ability to do what
You're alleging.
what you're alleging. So it's a very grave claim. Okay? So let's find out what you found Mr. Wilson's statement. He's not a child. Our constitution says you're a big man. So nobody should babysit or babysit the young man. Say, oh, I will just say, no. It shouldn't be the regular statement. It should be a statement of national security concern. Mind you, he's speaking on the back of a recent fire incident. Fire in the barrel of the former president. We are yet to get a conclusive conclusion of what led to the fire. I'm told people went there to investigate and they were denied, and people said they want international investigator. Now this young man is coming with the kind of grave allegations. You get? So there are more questions than answers. And for me, I think the Ministry of Information, I know people might have an issue, but I think, Rufus, in my honest opinion, there should be no Ministry of Information. There should be no Ministry of Information. You know what?
No.
We should change that place to Ministry of Cultural Tourism. Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Let's focus more on tourism because there is no value for money we get as a country. There is no benefits we get out of the mainstream information. That information in particular, all we get is insults. Is the public affairs department going after every politician across this country. Meanwhile, all of the agencies and commissions of government, ministries, they got official people.
Mhm.
Are we running a mini radio station to that place, or we running a serious government mouthpiece? I'd like to see how the Ministry of Information is narrating government policy, like you said. And that's the fact. They are more combative than narrating government policies. Since the awareness agenda was launched, what is the status of that agenda? What have we achieved? All of the different travels the president have been making. What has he come home with? Talk us through the different investment breakthroughs the president is making. You don't want to tell us about how Mr. George Weah, I mean, that's all you get out of the information. Looking for all the bits on social media to attack. They run after bits, then talking policy issues. You know what is big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when somebody throw, you know, tell you run after it, perhaps.
Then you go for it.
Yeah.
You respond.
And that's what we're doing. So there is no need of having major information. Oh yeah. They are, in the words of one of our state officials, toothless. They're very toothless. I say this with an understanding, that I'm not seeing much from them. And mind you, since that major information was funded, they came as a result of a decree, right?
Mm-hmm.
The PRC. They stay on that decree. This is not a military state. So if you are funded as a result of military government, through a military means, this is a democracy. We have observed successful elections in our country. It's hard time with this maze that whole military thing. We'll go to the legislature and see how we can reorganize that place. As a matter of fact, they are operating in violation of the Liberian Constitution because we are a democratic state. Now the Constitution in force now. We're not following decrees. So your existence is based on a decree. Are we in a PRC state again?
No.
Is this administration, as a result of bloodshed? No, there is no revolution. So how can we have an institution standing on the strength of a revolution, telling us about information? When they are very big, but not even correct. So we need to dissolve that whole place. Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the legislature and reframe and find a better word, a better name, and give a better policy description to them how to proceed. Other than that, we continue to see the combative nature of that ministry information. Now, going to the presidential villa, I just like to land on that point quickly. Going to the presidential villas, so the major information again is in the news. This time, thanks to Eddie Jawolo from Nemo, because he was the very first person I saw it from. I think others have flagged it out, but I'd like to say thanks to him. I'm a very quiet person. I follow things and I just read and try to analyze things. Thanks to Eddie, who raised the issue about that presidential villa project in Lofa County. Now, we shouted yesterday about condominiums from President George Weah. We criticized it. I remember I was doing active radio then, do all of the different reports and all of the criticism. Why? Because when people give you power, the essence of power is better than livelihood. Mm-hmm. It's not intended to enrich yourself. In big duplexes, a condominium, So it's not about self benefit, it's about the people's benefit. So we found now with news coming from Lofa, President's home, that 18 million presidential villa has been built. Now here is the defense I got from the government, Secretary of the Ministry of Information, Deputy Spokesperson. Now, this project, quote unquote, is a project that was initiated by the MRU and ECOWAS. And if I get the quotation clearly, he said that villa was established primarily because Foya is just close to Guinea. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm also not saying he's right. Okay. So there are a few things we need to know about. Presidential villa and Mario, of course. Mind you, the mention of those two major institutions, Mario, of course, they are not any kind of small. They are not fly by night institution or a brand envelope group. It's an international organization we're talking about. ECOWAS, MRU, serious regional institution we're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
So for them to come to Liberia to break ground without the press notice, the Liberian press. The last time I checked, when I was in Ghana studying, the meeting that MRU had in this country was in October 2024. I didn't remember them coming in September because, from what I read from Eddie, that project has been 1 year now. I didn't read anything about breaking ground for presidential villa. I know they had a meeting at the ministerial complex, but that was a high-level ministerial meeting. It was nothing about MRU coming to the program. Now the deputy minister is saying the project was initiated was something sponsored by ECOWAS and MRU because Guinea is closer to Liberia, blah, blah, blah. So, how that groundbreaking took place? Was it in the dark? Who were the prominent people present? And we can ask, what are some of those local or international media that came for this program? Can we check in the Ghanaian media whether they have representative yet? Because ECOWAS is not even going to know law institution. What informed that MRU project in Foya Lofa County? What was the necessity? What was driven that initiative? Because before you do project, there should be a need.
Yeah.
A need-based analysis. Okay, people should first of all say, we want this. What exactly people wanted? Were they calling for presidential villa? Why? So these are the questions we should ask, okay? These are the questions we should ask. And between me and you, so I'm talking to you at the same time doing research. For whence I sit, because for whence I sit, I can boldly tell you that the research I just conducted, that information is false, it is unfounded. And that's something can be apologized to the Nigerian. The government should explain to us that 10 million presidential villa. I'm telling you because I'm speaking on the authority of what I just researched on. Like I said, I read things, I don't just run through it. I like to take my time, but I'm telling you on authority for where I sit, the research I just conducted. That information that Dana provided is unfounded, it is false. I'm telling you. Nowhere MRU ever broke ground for project in Lofa County.
So this come about the issue of trust.
This is why we say that information should be dismissed. Because they're not helping. I mean, they're not helping, my brother. They're not helping. I have some good big brothers there, and I must admit, some of them know me very well. But this is the fact. They're not helping. You see the kind of problem you bring out? Lie on the government. You say, that lie. I'm saying like, bro, that lie. That thing that he said, a lie.
When MRU come up with a statement debunking what he said on behalf of the government of Liberia, there where the issue of trust, credibility comes in. You see that? People who come with information or who provide information must have this as a guide. You got something to protect. And that thing has to do with your integrity, trust. If you, Vani, always providing misinformation, every time you provide misinformation, and when research is done, it's proving that you have provided misinformation for the people or told the people, what happens? You lost trust and credibility. You see that? Trust and credibility come. You are in a space, you are between the scissors, wherein you disseminate information on government's behalf. So, and whatever you say, the people take it as a face value. The people take it as a face value. So when you find yourself in a space where, because you want to suit the order of the day, or you want to curb on some of the issues, you come up with misinformation. So then how are we battering misinformation and disinformation when you, who is the custodian of government policies, to disseminate government policies and stuff, will be providing misinformation to the society? And where are we? The issue of trust. The issue of trust. So that's why I said the message and the messenger. The message and the messenger. See that? The message and the messenger. So if we continue to dive into this, and at the end of the day, when verification is done, that's why I appreciate our friends who started this fast checking issue. It helped during our election period and up to present. It's always important that we fast check information. So at that point, we get to realize that policymakers and people who are found in higher positions or even in the lower positions should be held accountable for the statements they made to the public, because this is in violation of the people's right to information. If you are not providing adequate information to the people, it's a violation to their right, because the people make decisions based on information they get. So you are the mouthpiece of government. You are there to disseminate government information and policies to the society. And if you are found in mistrust, where are we headed? That's why we say sometimes people need to be placed at positions where they are schooled. People need to be placed at positions. That's why I found on people appointing people based on political affiliation or based on some level of party lines and friendship. If you, Vine of all people, know that you have, as a journalist, you have this as your guide, your truth, your integrity. You will just gamble it because you want to suit the order of the day? No. That's what I always found on our friends who find themselves getting engaged with these kinds of biopoliticking, and as journalists getting involved deeply as they are doing. And I tend to wonder, because you must have gone through the ranks and filed, you know the do's and don'ts, and you find yourself, because you want to suit the occasion, you put all of those principles aside and then plunge yourself into mud, all because you want to please how you turn them out.
Yeah, but I mean, the I mean, like I said, there are more questions to everything. Rufus, to even have job security protecting the presidential villa, like we are hearing totally, is another question too, because if we say it is MRU ECOWAS initiative, huh?
Mhm.
you shouldn't have just security. You should have a regional security presence. That means you should have presence from the armed forces. You should have people from the Ivory Coast, people from Guinea. What is an ECOWAS MRU thing? Right? You should have other regional security forces, because that means if you are saying like MRU ECO, you are trying to insinuate that, hey, this villa is intended for the presidents of those countries. And maybe when they come in for meetings or whatever, they can raise it up. So it's not just for our president. No. So you can just have one state security, our state security there. You have other regional security. So I think, like I said, Sandoz slipped. Um, it highlights basically how vulnerable our information space has become. And especially last people or the last person who should ever make such a statement, in terms of informing the public. Dana Sanders is one person who is hardly. Because, to be a public affairs, it means that you should understand far too well the kind of information you bring in. You must cross your T's and dot your I's very well. So we have a long way to go. We have a very long way to go.
And I told somebody the
A very
last
long way
time
to
of
go.
running,
Very good.
and our folks will not learn from past mistakes, but they will engage in the same mistakes that others got involved with, and the outcome became so bad for them. Let's compare the past immediate government and this president in terms of information dissemination. You understand that during the era of the CDC-led government, they were also combative. There were a lot of good things done by the government, but those things were not flagged. The public were not in the know until at the dying minute where you have few weeks or few months to elections is where the folks grabbed themselves and started to publicize work that the government did and prospects that the government had for the people and the country. But then the minds of the people are already made up, right? Mm-hmm. So now you have another government coming into play. And the same government that is into play right now use the lackadaisical attitude of information dissemination on the part of the CDC-led government to make gains. Mm-hmm. And it's so early for them to sit there and follow the same pattern those individuals follow. So let's look back into the CDC-led government information arm. That's why when you are a professional, you perform professionally. You get in a space where professionalism is to the core, regardless of what may occur or what may come your way. You handle it professionally. That's why you see during the reign of Mr. Ledger reigning at the information ministry, we never had the support going out to that ministry, the any other ministry. Mm-hmm. Because as a professional, he performed a duty in the line of professionalism. He was not there, because they say you are information minister, so you should just say anything when not necessary. He spoke when necessary, and he reached out to the issues as a professional. But it was something that the folks in the hierarchy of the party saw as an affront to their approach of information. So all of the support that he needed weren't given him. You saw the likes of how do you call himself, Eugene Namwe being the de facto minister of information. He was officially speaking on the government's behalf. You had people in the party. There was no law and order. Anyone could have spoken on policy issues, where you have a minister in a ministry who should be propagating government policies and information. Now, come to this government. It's the other way around, but in the same vein, though you don't have anybody just speaking anyhow for the government, but yet and still the pattern of information dissemination on a timely basis is not being followed by this present regime. The pattern of being combative is still in line with the previous regime. So now, some of us, we sat here the last time and we made this recommendation, and we gave an analysis and even provided the kind of example that should grab the minds of the people who are at the ministry to run with and get connected to others who may have come up with that idea. Finally, it will interest you to know that during our EBD period, we have misinformation and disbelief because people were running with the information that Ebola was in Rio. It was a calculated attempt to rob the Liberian people and all kind of stuff. But we saw a lot of deaths. People died in their numbers. Family lost their relatives and loved ones. Like the lives of our brother, Sonaga Diabo. He lost almost 30 some press. And even one of our former workers, when we were there at Red Cross, he lost almost his entire family. So you see, with those kind of people, bringing them on board to explain to the ones who were still in disbelief about the information. So what happened? The ICRC, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society, got together and introduced to our system of the Red Cross a system, an approach called the beneficiary communication strategy, where you put a group of communicators together to serve as a medium between the aid provider and the beneficiaries. So what happened here is that the communicators go into the field, get to have baseline survey, you have monitoring evaluation, get baseline survey, all of the information, gather the information from the beneficiaries, get to the aid provider, and this is what the people say. Then the aid provider will strategize a formula to meet the needs and wants of the people in a timely manner. And in that, the beneficiary communicators will not just stop there. They were frequently taking information from the aid provider to the beneficiaries and from the beneficiaries to the aid provider. Like that, you have the chain of information. So at that point, we saw a speedy reduction in the number of deaths. We saw a speedy reduction in the number of cases because everyone are now being engaged with the information that, oh, if you do this, this is what will happen, and Ebola is real, and getting the people from the community involved. If the people are not part of the decision making, there's no value for it. If you were set here, that's why you see a lot of people don't understand. That's why we continue to caution people about this. Why you see the Red Cross operations, whatever the Red Cross does, is successful because they have their offices in all of the counties, all of the towns and villages. They have representation there. And they make the people a part of the system. They see themselves as part and parcel of the system. They get involved. Their children, their relatives and friends are all part of it. You don't just take people from HQ and carry them to go and implement projects in the counties. You have the county officers there. The county officers are there reaching out to the various towns and villages. So I'm part of this thing. You think you're not taking it serious? You my brother. We're in the same room. So in as much you Vani is part of this thing, I'm definitely going to believe, because if it was not good, you weren't going to get engaged with it. You see, so that's how we saw a drastic reduction in cases, and we keep to the point where we were amongst the numbers that overcame Ebola as fast as we could. The issue of misinformation and disinformation was curbed, and immediately we saw the end result. We were privileged to go and share our overcoming story in Ghana in 2016. So with that beneficial communication strategy put into play at the information ministry, where government policies, government information, and government workings, you will have the communities. Like you have the district. This district here, what is the needs and wants of the district? Now, you take that information, the beneficial communicators have a frequent engagement with the community dwellers, with the stakeholders. They come to the point. That's what we talk about a national plan aside from a political party or a regime plan. This national plan, the community know what they want. You have the long-term and short-term plan. With this long-term, we know that education is paramount. We know that health is key. We know that security is key. So how can we get to approach these issues in the rural communities? Reach out, do baseline survey. The communicators take the information to the aid provider, which is the government. The government also pass on information. Though you have come up with your information or your needs and wants, but at this point in time, we cannot face all of these things at the same time. But this is how we're going to do it. We'll do it this way. Within this quarter to this quarter, we'll be able to attack this and work on it so that it be resolved. The beneficial communicators take the information to the community dwellers. The community dwellers understand. So like that, you're going to break the barrier of misinformation and disinformation. Those who are your opposition, they will have no space because the people themselves are engaged with the matter.
Yeah.
The people themselves are engaged with the matter. So you cannot come and tell me, say, oh, the government doing nothing for you. When I say I'm involved in making this thing to work, you will fool me that way? You're not fooling me. So the people there at the information arm, they need to get engaged. If you don't know, go and reach out. The beneficial communication strategy, put it into play and see the information strategy in combating misinformation and disinformation. You will see what will happen. The society, even if you want to carry on a project, or you for instance, the overhead project here. How many people do know how this thing going to be? It is important for us, but you know that there are people who are saying the worst about that project. There are people who are saying the worst about the project. So what is the role of the information ministry in this line? To make people to understand the benefits that will come with this overhead or the overpass. What is the role of the information ministry in telling the people about the gasoline price, the stability in the gasoline price? What is the role of the information ministry to tell about basic commodities and all the kind of thing? Now the economy is high and this and one. Okay, yes, the economy is high. We know that things of yesterday will not be as seen as now. The world is evolving. But in the midst of it, the government is striving to make things work and the citizens at this time in point. But for somebody come out and say, oh, things are high, and the government not doing nothing, they come out, oh, you go share them up. You yet? You said you should be telling the people why things are high. And I must appreciate these institutions like the LRA. The LRA and that of Central Bank of Liberia got engaged with information people, right? Journalists, calling, creating trainings for journalists because we are the ones who propagate the message. It is based on the information we pass on to the public.
Mhm.
They make decisions.
Mhm.
So LRA and that of Central Bank of Liberia, based on the law of the economy, they got journalists involved and explain how it works. It was when I got to know that it is not in the purview of the Central Bank of Liberia to regulate the U.S. that foreign currency. It was when I learned that the Central Bank of Liberia has dominion over her currency and not the foreign currency. What are the strategies they put in place to curb the increase in the rate or to minimize the inflation and all that kind of stuff? And you understand? So when you get people engaged, just having the press briefing is not all to aid. You must reach the length and breadth. I took up my time of VIP. I went to the rural area. I went Bond County, Nimba. I went to Magibi, 3 counties. And each of those counties, I spent a night. I follow the media. I'm a media person. I follow the way information is being carried out on the media. And you're interested to know that the way we run with information here is quite different on that side. You have one journalist or somebody who sits on the radio misinforming the people. And that's how I'm not a government person, but knowing that you as a journalist, you must be able to provide factual information to the people. That's how on the man who show, I was more like, and I called on the show and I provided the knowledge that was needed. And that night it wasn't an easy thing. The calls that were coming in because the brother was misinforming the people. So you see, so if the information ministry have foot soldiers, and beneficial communicators in the various towns and villages with megaphone, creating awareness on government plans and policies, where the people will be abreast of the information, you're getting them the timely information. You think somebody will come from the blind side and say, oh, the government are doing nothing? The woman already know that she goes on her farm. There's somebody there to tell her that, Oma, the president is doing all he can to make agriculture vibrant again. That you will have the time now, the yellow mission coming, that the farmer will put it together, you'll be able to make your beef farm and make your money. The road construction that is going on, it is for this, so that you can have the time to take your produce from the farm to the market. These are works that you are taught to do. Are you doing it? You are not. But you want to be combative. You want to be very insulting. How can you do this?
Because I mean, we have a lot of way to go. And I like the way you actually put it together. But I know we'll take some calls, right?
Yeah.
I know we'll
Shut
take
the
some
door,
calls.
open the
So
lines.
yeah, but you say obviously right. I mean, if we can just tap on these strategies you just lay out, I mean, it makes the work so easy. You don't have to be fighting issuing press statement, being combative. Except, I mean, your work will speak for you.
Yeah.
I mean, if the government can, so this is a free PR, yeah, free consultancy. If you can just document some of the major happenings, some of the major developments that Rivers now are saying, and try to break those major developments down to the community people level so that they can understand what the government is actually doing. Like you mentioned, the prices of petroleum products have drastically reduced. How are we messaging that policy decision? How is the Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of Transport helping the public to ensure that the drivers are not hacking the prices against the citizens? And we can have those different messaging, document your development progress, it makes the work very easy. Nobody will come up with any kind of who did that say kind of statement and try to score political points on the government. No, the people themselves will see the impact. They will understand that the government is actually making some progress, some impact in some areas. It makes the work very easy, but the approach is quite different. The approach, I mean, like we are talking. The only thing that people know how to do is set confidential information, look for what the CDC said yesterday, what a major tab on the radio, what are the calls the person made, we collect it, fire back. And, and that is not your role. I mean, your role is to propagate government policies, government progress, government plans. That's the essence of the major information. Not to be fighting back, not to be combative. You can be clarity, but not to be insulting. Now, um, the president is returning to the country today. Did you see on the major information his website? There is a statement I like to read. It said, His Excellency President Barack arrival notice. The same thing we saw last administration. It said His Excellency President Joseph Human Barack Sr. will be arriving in the country on Tuesday, September 30, after a successful conclusion of his official visit to the United States of America. While in the United States of America, President Barack actively participated in the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, where he said bilateral and multilateral, where he held rather bilateral and multilateral meetings to mobilize support for Liberia's development agenda, and later launched the Liberia Diaspora Conference aimed at rallying Liberians abroad to remain engaged in national development programs. Upon arrival, President Bouaka will attend an intercessory service in his honor at the Life Center Church, Benson Avenue, Lower Nagibi County, along the Monrovia Rabotsfield Highway, where well wishers and officials of government are encouraged to attend. Well wishes and officials of government. I mean, somebody highlighted this thing recently on Facebook. But I thought the president was actually, I think it was an AI doctor kind of release. Until I went to the Nature Information on Facebook page and I saw this stuff. I mean, to even tell us that the president actively participated in the 80th UN General Assembly session is an insult to the Liberian people. You know why I say that? When you ask the president to actively participate, people, taxpayers' money was not used for participation. If and only if the president wanted to participate, the entire delegation that we spent thousands of dollars on would have remained in Liberia, would do a Zoom. This is why we have the internet. The war is
Evolving.
digital.
Yeah.
President Barack could do a recording of a statement. Said the UN General said, no play. It's not obligated to go. Much as he decided to go, we said, well, President Barack go and make
The case.
the case. A scout investment opportunity for us. You don't come tell us you participated. When you say you participate, if and only if your goal was about participation, you would have remained here and keep our taxpayers' money to direct it to other development programs. You know, they were again more, and sometimes I guess irritated when people
Maybe it's
try.
a misuse of words. You don't think so?
Which one?
The way in which they praise
Yeah. I mean,
participation.
what
No.
I think they should be
The
telling
president
us.
was engaging. The president did engage stakeholders, and these are outcomes of the president meeting or
Because
his involvement with the
it
General
was
Assembly and
Kenya.
all that kind of stuff.
Kenya.
Yeah,
Kenya.
I saw him. The man.
Ruto.
Yeah, Ruto carry stuff from Kenya.
I mean, in addition to Ruto, several right, other nations, Nigeria. I mean, they are scouting investment opportunities. They are telling the people that were at this event were able to attract these investors. Kenya is about to benefit from investment in agriculture, in tea. You know, the Kenyans are into tea production stuff. They are winning investments. We have our natural resources just sitting under the ground. We're not even able to develop them. have we been able to encourage investors to come and put money into our
The
research?
tourism sector.
Tourism.
Let's talk about the tourism
So
sector.
we'll have meeting, we'll have fun fair. I mean, come and the glamours of the event. Is that all?
And it was interesting to know that
We tell all the president coming to church, all the should be attend. Is that what we're saying here, therefore?
it was interesting to know that
I mean, I'm
Liberia,
sick and tired sometimes when I see this.
Liberia was once a hub of tourists. Liberia was once a hub of tourists. But mind you, that aspect of tourism, we have given that to Ghana because the Ghanaians have developed their minds over the years. The Ghanaians came here and grabbed all of the positive stuff and went back to their country, and they have turned out to be. Now we have the bicentennial year, right? And every year you have those free slaves and all of people going to visit Ghana. You think that Liberia is okay? You got the Grand Cape Mount County.
Yeah.
The best soil area. Trust me, when I was growing up, because then my dad was the manager of that hotel Wakala. We used to see the white people. They would come from all over to go to Grand Cape Mount County because we have the best soil stuff. The last time we had competition there, right? So now understand, you have the Patagoni waterfall.
Yeah.
You have a lot of natural areas there. You don't need to put artificial things there. What are we doing with the tourism sector?
How are we winning people to come?
How are we winning people to come? We have one senior brother being commissioned as the Commissioner General for Tourism, Onanunga, Chris. What is he doing? We have the how to call the place, the Providence Island.
Yeah.
A beautiful area, historical area. Go Nima County. Now, that's why I always give it up for the superintendent of Nima County, Kou, is doing extremely well.
Yeah.
You know that there are a lot more that has been done in Nima County, most especially, you know that we have a historical site there, right? So all of these, you got the United Conference Center here, where countries that we gave birth to, meetings were being held. Countries that where meetings at that place were held and gave birth to countries. You know, Liberia, I saw stuff on the social media where a lady was displaying the importance of Liberia, the role Liberia plays in all giving birth to all of African nations. Even the South Africa, we contributed to their freedom. Watch that thing.
Yeah, I think my wife tried playing it yesterday.
I mean, when I went through that thing, the chill.
Yeah.
Why are we not grabbing this? Why are we not engaging? We have the natural resources. We have all of the qualities that we need to attract people to this nation. But why are we not doing it? Time is fast spent. Let's just for a minute or so.
Yeah, I mean, the president of Liberia.
Yeah.
I would like to say hats up to us. I mean, media has been so, has played a pivotal role in the information space of our country. So the president of Liberia celebrated our 61st anniversary, and congratulations to the PO and to us, to all professional journalists across this country. Thank you.
Yeah.
Job.
Yeah. So time I've got up with us. We cannot get them for anyways. Time is fast. So your parting comment, V.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a pleasure. Let's do it again. Let's keep talking. The more we talk, the better we expect this to be, and it's a pleasure. I apologize again for coming so.
No, you are engaged.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So this is all we have time for today. Let us check out those who were actually there with us while we went on the show. Initials, Junior, Bar, thank you so much. Tracy, I see you, Trey. Trace, thank you so much from Stars. Sylvester, Nikki Bestman, thank you so kindly. Jeanette E. Dugley, the wife of Fanny Dugley. Thank you so much for joining us. We have this time, God willing, on Thursday, but Pam Fumba and John Kessler will be here on tomorrow. This has been a wonderful edition, The Positive Show. My name is Rufus Divan Khan, and I always leave you with these words. Two things in this life you always be remembered for: the problems you create and the problems you solve. And you must take responsibility of two things in your life: your fortune and that of your misfortune. Because in union, strong sources a show, of God above our rights to prove, we over or prevail. With hearts and hands, our country cause defending. Meet the fool with valor unpretending. Because my husband Gandhi said, the difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing will suffice to solve most of the world's problems. Unquote. Have yourselves a wonderful and God bless day. And congratulations to the President Union of Liberia as you turn 61 today.